I knew that I was officially hacked. It wasn't just a bug. And in 12 hours, $15,000 was spent. But by Tuesday, after my account was hacked, $30,000 was spent. At like 9 a.m., and I had a message from one of my day job clients. And they're like, hey, we've noticed some spam ads on our ad account. And you and I and this other person were the only 3 people on the ad account. So I've revoked all access to it. And I was like, oh no, I know exactly what's going on. All I wanted to do was use my ad account and spend money. How could all this happen?
I think a lot of people think that if I do 2FA, I'm good. If I've got my phone number on there, then people can't get in, and you're not covered, and that's not sufficient.
The biggest problem with this, though, is we didn't have any SOPs. I realized that a lot of agencies don't. Like, you have operating procedures for how to run ad accounts and how to offboard a client, but there is very little SOPs for like what happens if an account is compromised. Evergrow's Facebook operations were absolutely halted. So we mentioned earlier in a few episodes ago that my Facebook was hacked. So this wasn't just like a typical like clicking on a link and then suddenly like I'm posting some weird thing on my Facebook that's like tagging 100 people. Like it's not like an old person hack where like they
look at
like,
these sunglasses, they're $5 for 40.
Like it was a legit hack. Like I was kicked out of my Facebook account and I couldn't get back in. Everything was changed. Recovery options were changed to the hacker stuff, and I was just dead in the water. And I'll tell you the whole story, but that had a lot of implications for not just me as like a personal like person having this Facebook account, like just a standalone user, but Evergrow's Facebook operations shut down, absolutely just ceased. And because it's against Facebook's policies to create additional accounts specifically for business and specifically for personal. So if you have a business account, it has to be managed by your personal account. Now, I know just recently Meta allowed you to have, I think, up to 5 users for your personal account associated together. So this is like, I don't even know if you know this, Cody, but this is
news to me.
I think it was in Stack Marketer. Give them another shout out. They just shouted out the podcast. They posted on Twitter.
They did a reverse shout out. That was nice.
We shouted out Spotify on episode 67, and then they pulled out the reverse Uno card and just slapped it down and was like, no, shout out you. But anyways, I think it was the Stack Marketer, but yeah, it was. But Meta, you can have 5 profiles, but it's only one user. It's still tied to your account. And the profile, the whole purpose of them is to tailor your experience because everybody's life is so fragmented by their interests and activities. So you can personalize your experience based on the profile you're signing. It's almost like Chrome profiles, but it's still like, I don't know. So it's still probably tied to the same person.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, weird. But it's still one account, which means like only one of those really has access to like business managers. Anyways, that gets locked out. Like you're screwed. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because that this had like huge implications for our agency. One personal Facebook account had huge implications for it. And it also, we didn't have an SOP or process for this. Like what happens when this happens, and what preventative measures are taken in place in the future. So I'll start with like when and what happened. So I don't remember exactly when the hack occurred, but I went to Japan. Everything was great. I came back around the 10th, I think. And my dad came to Minnesota for his birthday on the 16th of July. And at 11 p.m. on the 15th, we were all just hanging out at my sister's house. And then I was logged out of Facebook, and I was like, well, that's weird. So I had to go log back in, and it was like, no, user doesn't exist. And I was like, what do you mean the user doesn't exist? I was just logged in. So I thought it was a glitch. I didn't even know what was going on. And I just kept trying, and it ruined the whole night because now I'm like, what one, I use Facebook primarily to promote the podcast. I use it to promote Evergrow and connect with different audiences. And, also I need Facebook for not only Evergrow, but also my day job. And
yeah, I mean, for you, it's a business thing, right? It's not just you personally being like, oh yeah, cat videos and
I
memes.
can't
Like
see
you,
pictures of my family anymore. I
this
don't
was
care about my
logistical.
family. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, this had like financial implications. And so I was like, well, this sucks. I couldn't get back in. I tried to forget it, and I feel bad because like it ruined the whole night, and arguably, I feel like it almost ruined it for my dad or my sister, brother-in-law, and Lauren, because it was just like I was just over there, the dark cloud above me, and I think at like 9 a.m. I woke up. We went back home, and I woke up, and I had a message from one of my day job clients, and they were like, "Hey." It was a Slack message, and they're like, "Hey, we've noticed some spam ads on our ad account, and you and I and this other person were the only 3 people on the ad account. So I've revoked all access to it except for me because I know it's not me." And I was like, "Oh no, I know exactly what's going on." So immediately I was like, "Okay, here's what happened with my account. So just so you know," and then I knew that I was officially hacked. It wasn't just a bug anymore. So then I reached out to all of my clients that I knew that I had direct access to. And I was like, you need to take me off of your ad account, disconnect me from your business manager access, everything. Then I messaged you and I was like, I need you to do the same thing with Evergrow. I need you to take me off of everything. And you were able to relatively quickly. But just by Sunday, so the 15th was a Saturday of July. The 16th is a Sunday. And by noon on Sunday, I was removed from literally everything. So 12 hours. 12 hours is all it took. And in 12 hours, $15,000 was spent. So all of the ad accounts that I was connected to, this hacker, they had run ads on our, not only our clients but my day job clients ads, and it was 15 grand in 12 hours. And
okay, just for clarity, they like they didn't spend ads for your clients. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they weren't promoting more of
right,
the
yeah,
services you were
so
already promoting, right? I mean, this was malicious in some way. It seems weird to just be like, oh yeah, we spent extra money for the good guys.
yeah, no, so the ad, I tell you what the ad was. So on every single ad account, they used the same page, which was an Evergrow client page. So they ran an ad from one of our clients pages, but on different ad accounts. And the ad was like half in Spanish, and it was for like a foot massager. Like it's just totally random. It was one of those like clickbaity Facebook ads, like product ads. And the site was a scam site. So like you go there and you buy whatever, and it would either steal your card information, or it would just not deliver the product, and you just pay for nothing basically. And that was the whole point of this, and it had a lot of engagement on it. So like they just had like, they're like, we'll just, there's no spending limit, right? Like it's not our money, they're spending on our clients ad accounts, which are connected to either their credit cards or our credit cards. So in addition to this, like as soon as I knew my account was hacked on the 16th, I not only had everybody remove everything of mine, but I also disabled 100% of my credit cards. Like I totally shut them all down. I changed all my passwords, all my bank accounts, and everything that I could think of immediately. Like it was Instagram, because Instagram password is different. Twitter, LinkedIn, just any kind of platform I could think of. And so by noon, everything was shut down. So I thought, but I'll get to that during this time. So like, I'll kind of go over like how I got it back. So Sunday and Monday, Lauren and my family in general were researching ways on how people have been in similar predicaments, because there's nothing I can do. And I know what some listeners are thinking, well, there's other recovery options. There isn't, because the hacker changed my username, or not my username, all my emails, my recovery emails. They deleted any email associated to the account. They changed my phone number and the recovery phone number, and basically everything. Typically, there are ways that you can verify your identity, and whether it's like submitting proof of like your identification or like entering in old passwords, because there's usually a button that pops up that says I don't have access to any of these recovery options, and then you go through that process. However, Facebook's recovery system is broken, and it doesn't allow you to do that for like weeks on end. Like you have to like not attempt to log in at all, and then like you can go in. However, if there's activity in the account, my speculation is that they won't show it as long as there's activity in the account. There's physically no way to recover your account. And what happens is you go through this death loop. You click on, I don't have access to this account. And then it goes back to, okay, well, enter in your recovery phone number or email. I don't have one. Don't have access to the account. And you just keep going back to this death loop. And I was doing a lot of research, and apparently a lot of people are running into the same problem. And there's just no good way to do it, to get anything back. And Laura had found an article in Vice magazine, and it was, I don't know if it was sponsored or if it was just written about this company, but back up for a second. So I posted a Twitter I was like, I'm calling out Facebook. I'm like, because that's what people do when they complained about businesses, right? They post on Twitter. And immediately, I even made a joke about this in a previous episode where it was like, if you say Facebook and hacked in the same sentence on Twitter, you get spammed by bot comments that just says like, oh, my Facebook was hacked, but so and so helped me out, they've been amazing. And it's just like the same person, but it's like 3 different people, and you'll get spam. Like, listener, try it. Say like, I even did a tweet, so you can go to my Twitter, it's in the show notes, but you can go to my Twitter, and I did a tweet, and I was like, do you want an instant engagement hack on Twitter? Just type Facebook hacked. And I put Facebook and hacked in quotes. And then I was like, now watch the likes, retweets, and comments just soar. And it did. Like immediately just like shot up. But like the metrics doesn't count it. So like Twitter, it looks like Twitter like catches on to spam comments and things. And like they don't count those metrics when you look at the actual tweet. But as they would take screenshots and post on my Facebook. But anyways, so I'm like super hesitant to like reach out to a company to actually help me get my account back, because I'm at a loss. There's nothing I can do. I can't even contact Facebook support, because in order to do that, you have to be logged in. So there's just like no option. And I mean, if you have a secret method, go ahead and like let us know, because
yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, there's just no way. So what I did and how I got it back. So we found this company called Hacked. It's literally hacked.com, which is like the most badass domain ever. They had to have paid a pretty penny for that one. But we found this company in Vice magazine. We're like, well, Vice is pretty reputable, generally speaking. So I'll give them a call. And they had like a very simple website that looked like it was just built from a like Divi builder. Honestly, it was really simple. They even had the prices online. I just went to their website before this podcast started, and they've changed their site, so there's a lot less to do. But I scheduled a call with them, specifically a guy named Christian, and basically the owner of the company isn't Christian, it's someone else, but he started this because I think he got his account hacked, and now he was like, I'm gonna make it my life goal to help people get their accounts back. So they don't have anybody on the inside. They just have a very intimate knowledge of how Facebook's recovery system works and other things you can do outside of Facebook to help you get it back. So I called him. I can't remember what I paid. I think it was like $75 or $80 to talk to Christian for like 50 minutes. I think it was 50 minutes. And we went through this whole process. When we used the full 50 minutes, and then he even gave me some homework afterwards. And nothing to any avail. But before he started, he's like, just so you know, like this can take weeks, if not months, to get it back. And there is no set time or anything. So I was like, okay, well, I'm willing to do what I need to do to get this back because this is extremely important. So like I do my things. We got to wait 2 weeks before we can do anything else again. So I waited 2 weeks because remember, this button doesn't show up. And then we go through the checks. And ultimately, at some point, he was like, okay, this next step is you need to reach out to the California Attorney General. I'm like, this, okay, now we're like stepping into the big leagues here because now I'm like getting basically the authorities involved.
Yeah, a lot of
And
stuff.
so he like he like coached me on the things that I needed to say and like to plead my case to the California AG. And I they have a form online. I submitted it, and the very next week I had a letter in my uh, mailbox from the California AG. And I was like, whoa, that was fast. And it was dated the same day I sent my email in. And I'm like, I must have made a seriously compelling case in my email. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna work with Facebook. So I was like, I emailed Christian. I was like, okay, what do I like? What do I do like after this? Like, and he goes, well, this is what you can typically expect, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. So I waited, and I think a week later, I was laying in bed and I saw this email or this, yeah, a couple emails from Facebook to my Evergrow email, which I was like, that's weird. I'm like, how do they know my email's associated with Facebook? And every now and then I would get random emails that said like someone tried to log into your account. And it was usually when I was trying to log into my account, but I got these emails when I wasn't trying to log into my account. And I was like, what the heck? Then I also got an email that said, your ad is approved and live and scheduled. And I was like, I have not seen this kind of email from Facebook in 5.5 weeks. And because at this point, it's August 23rd of 2023. So, we're from July 15th to August 23rd. I think that's 5.5 weeks. And I was like, weird. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and click on this button in this email that says secure account because it said, someone's tried to log in your account. Next time you log in, you're going to have to enter in your password and secure your account and things like that. So I did. And then it took me through like a normal password recovery thing. And it had all of my recovery options there. It had like all my old emails, all my old phone numbers. And I was like, which one do you want to receive the recovery code to? And I was like, what the? I was like, I was laying in bed and Lauren was laying in bed doing work. And then I'm like, oh my God. And so I just got up and she goes, what? And I went downstairs to get my computer because I was on my phone. And I bring it up and I was like, I think I'm going to get back into my Facebook. And then I went through those options and I did. Next thing you know, I had my timeline pulled up and I was like, holy crap. And I even had like 50 unread messages and like 100 notifications. And I was like,
those guys didn't even take the time to impersonate me, like do a good job. They didn't respond to anybody.
Oh, no,
they didn't notice the notifications.
They didn't care. All they wanted to do was use my ad account and spend money. And so I was like, well, I was like, honestly, my Facebook account just kind of feels like a used condom right now. Like I feel like they just like had their way with me, and then they're like, "Here you go," and so I just felt so gross after logging back in. Anyways, I was like elated to have my account back. And so I emailed Christian and Christian was like, yes, great. Let's hop on a 30-minute call. Let's do the things to secure your account. But backing up, like, so I secured my account and I was like, Christian logged in and he did like a bunch of other like back end stuff to Facebook that was like, we need to do this, and this because like all of these are access points. And like connected apps from like we were like going through and we spent like literally 30 minutes just like going through like all of these connected apps to Facebook. And he's like, we got to like 2010, which is like the Farmville era, and like all those Facebook things that people like logged into Facebook to see what kind of like popcorn kernel they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And he's like, yeah, so a lot of these are like entry points into your Facebook account. And I was like, this is insane. So I was like, how could this? During talking to Christian, I was like, how could all this happen? Like, what was? I use a random password. It's not really random. It's random in my head. None of the characters or letters or numbers mean anything. And I also had two-factor authentication set up through my phone. And he goes, well, first of all, Facebook's two-factor authentication through your cell phone is garbage. So like it's very easy to spoof your number and then have that sent to somebody else. Which because when the hacker logged in, they didn't I never got a notification on my phone to issue that two-factor.
Yeah,
I
that's an
also
important point. I think a
yeah,
lot of people think that specifically for Facebook, right? That if I do 2FA, I'm good. If I've got my phone number on there, then people can't get in, and I can talk about it at the end, but you're not you're not covered, and that's not sufficient anymore for this.
yeah. So it was it sucked. So like yeah, I didn't get anything. I didn't even get like a message from Facebook on any of my emails that was like someone has logged into your profile or anything like that, or someone has requested a password recovery. And it was just like nothing happened. Um but I actually like I was going through all my emails and I found one in spam. One lone email. I have like 6 emails connected to my Facebook. Well, I did, but one email in one spam folder on one email profile, and it said someone may have logged into your profile, and I was like one, and like my phone never got pinged for 2FA or anything, and I was like, wow, this is insane. So um during this time I had actually I got really like during this like 5.5 weeks I got really into like like scammers and hackers and things like that, and it was just on YouTube, and I found a company called Aura, which is basically like what I was really looking for was just like a VPN service, because I was like, VPNs, like encryption and like all this. And I was like debating on different VPN services, and I saw Aura, and Aura just has like a very simple VPN, which is like on off. Like you can't tell where to VPN in from. But then it had a bunch of other stuff too, like a password manager, which was timely because PassPack is what I used previously, and they just started charging for it. But then Aura also had like digital identity theft protection and monitoring, and they do like a bunch of other stuff too that is really helpful. But it was like I can't remember what it is, like $15 a month or something like that. Um, and they also insure you for up to $1 million if anything is like compromised or something. Yeah, so individual plan, $15 a month. It can secure 10 devices, identity theft protection, $1 million identity theft insurance, financial fraud protection, and then it has just like a bunch of other features too, like a vault and all this stuff to track. They even have ad blockers, an email alias, and spam and message protection. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, I signed up for Aura, and I was like, I need this because something happened. I need to protect my personal assets. I didn't even say this, but by Tuesday, after my account was hacked, $30,000 was spent. And so I was still like connected to a couple accounts that weren't able to remove me in time. Um, Fortunately, all of our clients got all of their money back from Facebook or their bank. And so it was okay, but some people aren't as fortunate. Um, so I was like, well, if this has financial implications, I need to protect myself. But as soon as I logged into Aura, I give them like my all my emails to monitor, because they monitor everything. All my phone numbers, and then I also uploaded like my all of my like personal documents, like passport and ID and things like that. And they basically scan the web, and they see if any of this has been leaked out or if it's been part of any like data compromises. And sure enough, the oldest email that I've had that it was still connected to my Facebook account was picked up as being under like 3 different data leaks with the associated password. And the problem that I have was I always use the same password or a variation of the same password for tons of different sites, and I think most people honestly do. And if you're one of the people that don't, you're like one of the 1%. But Cody. So now I just use Aura's
I
password.
categorize. I like from the beginning. I categorize
Oh,
them
like
as
all
like this
social
is a
has it.
worthless. No,
Yeah.
like
Oh.
this. Like I'm gonna log into this once a year, and I know I have no purchasing power saved in here. Like it's an account that has really nothing of any value. Then those get like a same level of password. But the second I know that money's tied in there, no, everything would have. I mean, this is from the start too. Just
well,
individually set.
I use it now. So I use Aura's password manager, which can generate like auto generate like a random password that's super long and hard to you can't even memorize it, honestly. So I officially don't know any of my passwords to anything except Aura. And what's cool is like they have a browser extension too. So as soon as I log into something, the little Aura bubble pops up and it says, "Hey, we recognize this. Do you want your password for this site?" And then I just plug it in, and I have the same thing for my phone too now. But yeah, and then the other cool thing too is like just being a business owner, like being, having my personal information out there now because of that. They also like go out and seek out data brokers who have my contact information and ask to remove them like legally. So that's pretty legit. So I found a ton of value in this, and I was like, this is awesome. So like I actually reached out to Aura and was like, hey, this is what we do. We have a podcast. We talk about digital agencies and agency ownership, and this is what happened. Because I now have your product, what are the options to like, be an affiliate and offer something to our audience? Because I would like to prevent this from happening to any other agency owner out there. So we talked to them on the phone. Super, super cool people. Actually, did you know this? Robert Downey Jr. is on the board of Aura, like Iron Man.
I think he was on the board. I saw him on the website though, and I thought, cool.
He's on the board.
They got Iron.
He's like the
Iron Defense or
dude.
something.
He's like the Ryan Reynolds with like Mint Mobile and something else. I can't remember. But
that's cool.
Yeah, no,
he doesn't even talk about it, right? I mean, you don't.
Nah.
Yeah. Humble guy, quiet about it.
But yeah. So what we have now is our first podcast sponsor, which they're really not even a sponsor. It's more of like a partnership affiliate. So if you want to support the podcast and also protect yourself, prevent this from happening, one, you could just do the things that I said to not do, like set up cell phone 2FA and use the same password for everything. But you can also monitor all of your emails and phone numbers and anything like that, any of your personal data that's out there, and then use their password vault. There is a link down in the description or show notes, depending on which platform you're listening to or watching, that goes to our Aura page. And if you sign up through that, one, you support the podcast, and then two, you also get 50% off. I don't remember how much it is. It's like your first like year or something like that. So up to 50%. I think it depends on which pack, because they have like individual, dual, and like family or something like that. So yeah, you can. No, it's way higher than that. Hold on. Aura.com/Everbros. I think that's what it is. It is. You can get up to 63% off. That's just silly. And you get a trial for 14 days. So you can log in and you can check to see if, your information has been compromised or, which is honestly what you can do. Just sign up for the trial, see if your information's been compromised, see what Aura finds on your emails and phone numbers. And, if you find that valuable, then keep it going. But yeah, okay. After that really long, shameless plug for the first product that we actually believe in and are willing to promote on the podcast. So what happened? That's kind of what we covered. Not entirely sure, but I think it was due to a data leak, and they must have spoofed my phone number, getting getting my SIM card or something. I don't know. I'm not technical. But after recovering my account, I had a bunch of issues with Facebook. So like I was just over the hill. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but there were still problems. And one was I hadn't been in my account for over a month. I haven't, someone else has. And so like literally everything, I even marked my account as hacked. There's a way to do that on Facebook or like compromise or whatever. So the hacker, I think, had limited mobility within the account. And every single thing I did was suspicious activity. And so I would get emails about it. Facebook would log me out. My sessions would be timed out after like 30 minutes. So I have to constantly log in. And the biggest pain in the ass was that I'd have to keep logging into Aura to get my password because I didn't remember it, which is very secure. But Facebook logging me out was the pain in the ass. And another part of this was just because I had my Facebook account back, like remember, Evergrow's Facebook operations were absolutely halted. There was nothing we could do to run Facebook ads or get clients sold on Facebook. And the worst part about this was during this period, people were asking me about Facebook ads, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you. So like I was trying not to tell prospective clients that I was hacked because that's not a good look. But I was also like being like, yeah, but sticking to our core tenets, like focusing on Google first. As you can see, I'm wearing my Google partner shirt. So focusing on Google first, and then moving over to Facebook. But after getting my account back and logging in to the business manager, I realized that our business manager was flagged for suspicious activity, and so were all of the ad accounts. In fact, our business manager was only flagged for suspicious activity because all of our ad accounts were flagged for suspicious activity. And that sent me through a death loop again. So normally you can go through the ad account and you can go through a verification process or request a review. I couldn't. The button wasn't there. So I was like, great. So I found a way to contact Facebook. And through like a standard Facebook business manager form. And it opened up a case, but it didn't really help at all. And for what it's worth, too, like I had in my day job, I had our Facebook marketing rep reach out to us, and I was like, and normally I just ignore those people, but I was like, hey, I'd love to help you, but I can't because my account's hacked. So she had opened up like an internal ticket as well. So I'm jumping all over the place because I haven't talked about this in over a month, but um, she opened up an internal ticket too, and that was absolutely not helpful. Hacked.com helped me get my account back better and faster than Facebook did, even when I had a direct American Facebook person to talk to. So that didn't work. They opened up a case, didn't go anywhere. So what I also did when I got my account back was the first thing I did was I went to go get Meta verified. Pay that $16 fee that I always crap on all the time because I was like, you're just paying for exposure. You're just paying for what's the word? Influence. You're paying for.
Yeah, that's one perspective. I think the other is just extortion isn't the word, but
it's for clout. That's what I always say.
I think it's Facebook muscling and squeezing.
Yeah.
Well, Google just had this issue, right? They just had the Department of Justice came out and said like they inflated CPC's 5% and just muscled it, which goes against everything that they've ever said. But that's an offshoot
to meet revenue or profit goals. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I finally have that coveted Facebook blue check mark and pay $16 a month for it. But I only do that because I learned that it comes with extra security measures. So you have to verify your identity. Your profile picture has to be of your face, and you get access to like custom Facebook support. That's better than any other support out there. And I decided to go through that support channel and was like, hey, I have a problem, and it's a platform problem. And then I talked to them about the business manager, and within the same day of me reaching out to them, they unsuspended everything, all the ad accounts, the business manager. And they said, and this chick, she called me and she's like, you're good to go. Like, I was like, I just got to pay you guys $16 a month and I'm good to go. Like, So if you're an agency owner, I highly advise you to get the verified badge. And I now have to change my position on this and say that it's actually worth it in terms of security and just Facebook support. Now, I will say that the Twitter badge is useless. Unless you just want reach on Twitter, that's paying for clout because they don't require any identity verification on Twitter. You just pay $8 and then all of a sudden, boom, you got it. I have it, but that's besides the point. It's like, well, if I'm blue on Facebook, I might as well be blue on Twitter. So what I want to do is I want to do like a whole write up on my personal website, JakeHundley.com, and you just basically, well, obviously optimize it for like, the same questions that I was searching when this happened to me. And maybe people will have a better experience getting back into their Facebook account because I was led to a bunch of dead ends and a bunch of like circles. And I just want to do like one comprehensive thing. Like these are the steps that I did. There's a lot that Hacked helped me with, but I don't want to go into like everything they did because it's their business model. They're really helpful. And I don't want to, I don't want to show you how the sausage is made. So, if your Facebook account is hacked or if your family or friend is hacked, I highly advise that if it's important to you, reach out to them. I think at the end of the day, I spent like $150 with them, and 5.5 weeks later, I was in. So, so final steps after securing. So like I got my account back, and so now what? Everything is all good. Well, I immediately set up 2-factor authentication through an authenticator app. I'm not going to say which one for security purposes, but there's a ton of ones out there. There's Google has one. Facebook used to have one, but I think they got rid of it. Microsoft has one. There's a bunch of other third-party authenticator apps out there as well. Ideally, you use a security key, which is relatively new, but a security key, from my understanding, is basically an authenticator app, except you have to have a physical device either plugged in or using Bluetooth next to your device you're trying to log in on. And so the only way the authenticator app will work is if you have the device with you. And that's like impossible to break into, at least at this point. Then I got meta verified for Facebook. Just for the added security later. I had to upload my passport as proof of identity and also verify my mailing address through like an actual letter from Facebook with a code on it. So now they know like where I live, and they also know what I look like and have my government ID. I partnered with Aura. I actually partnered with Aura before I got my account back because because my Facebook was hacked doesn't mean that I wanted anything else to get hacked. So just making sure that everything was all good. They monitor. I even have my bank accounts hooked up to Aura, so they monitor transactions in my bank account, and I set the limit too. So like anything over like $200 is monitored, and it sends an alert to my Aura dashboard that says, "Hey, there is a transaction over the monitor limit." It goes off all the time, like every second, because I'm just flush with cash. No, it doesn't. And then the biggest problem with this, though, is we didn't have any SOPs. So if you're not familiar with SOP, standard operating procedure, we didn't have anything for that as an agency. And I realized that a lot of agencies don't. Like, you have operating procedures for how to run ad accounts and how to maybe even like offboard a client, but there is very little SOPs for like what happens if an account is compromised. And and even if you were to think about that just for a little bit, and you think, well, okay, well then we can't use that account. Well, it has a lot more implications than that. So like now, as an Everga policy, this is a policy that I've pretty much said this is what we're doing. And like, I'm sure Cody, you agree, but it's if you're an admin on the account, if you have like full privileges to Facebook's ad account, you have to be meta verified. That just full stop.
So logistically, we have temporarily limited my access in the meantime while that happens.
Because you're not meta verified,
right? Not yet.
You had an issue too. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, I was writing down a few things. That was one of them. I was going to say, this happened. An attempt happened on me too. So I want to believe this isn't targeted. I want to believe, and I'm choosing to believe this is coincidental and not targeted, because most likely it would be targeted through this podcast at this point, because especially my name just hasn't gotten out there enough. Because I don't want to be, and I stay under the radar. Everybody's like, yeah, we know, you say this every time. But yeah, so I think it's just going to keep continuing. I think it's going to increase. So it's frustrating because it does feel like you're getting muscled, but at the same time, not much of a choice. You got to adapt, or else you're just going to fall out. So,
especially considering like Facebook is literally saying we don't care about you unless you pay us $16 a month.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, we're working through that at the moment. And yeah, Jake said it, at a minimum, at a bare minimum, everybody should be using Authenticator and not relying on phone numbers for two-factor authentication, specifically through Facebook, because people are spoofing, and it's happening in several places. This isn't the first time that we've had this sort of discussion, with knowing about it from other people too. So,
yeah, I mean, you got a code sent to you, like an authentication code, which means somebody had your username and password.
Yep.
So, and I'm just saying, Cody, if you had Aura, you would have known if your data got out.
Well, yep.
He says, yeah, Cody's slow. I realized on my other shameless plug, I'm wearing my Google Partner shirt, and I have the Microsoft Partners Cup that you gave me.
Yep.
I'm pimped out. And
technically, I physically gave you both, although the Google Partners we earned together.
We earned that one together. That was an us. Well, this says, it makes sense because the cup says Microsoft Advertising Partner, like singular, because that was you. And this is Google Partners. This is us. But yeah, so at the end of the day, or at the end of all of this, I can't think now.
30K. That's the thing I wanted to bring up is 30K, but it did get everybody got their money back, so we weren't out 30K. Although it would have been fine if we had to have done it.
There's one client that had about 5K spent, but like it took him a lot longer to get it back. He had to actually go through his bank. He couldn't go. Facebook was basically saying no.
Yeah, it's no joke. Ad spend is serious stuff. So,
but I think the last thing that I was going to mention was that our SOP, so like every admin has to be meta verified, but then like everybody on the account has to have 2FA with Authenticator app set up. And although we can't know if somebody has Authenticator app set up unless they like send us a screenshot or like yeah, that's really it. We just know in Facebook Business Manager, you can just know if your users in the Business Manager have 2FA set up, but not which 2FA. And you have to require that on an agency level. Like use a button that says like, security options. And like one of them is have all users have forced users to have 2FA, or then it says like force admins to have 2FA, or like no security at all. And there's like different variations of that. There's like a green lock with the lockdown and locked, and then there's like the green lock with like half a lock, like not quite locked, and they have one that's just like wide open. Do the full lock. Everybody has to have 2FA. Admins have to be meta verified. And the reason why I said you can make a policy, honestly, where everybody has to be meta verified if they're in the ad account. The problem is if like Lisa on our team, if she excels to a position where she is now managing other people, and if she's an admin on the ad account, Evergrow will pay for her meta verified. We can't have her pay for that.
No.
So
people would do that? That's comical.
I don't necessarily trust 100% of our listeners to do things the ethical way. So So that's why like our policy is limited to just the admins, the people that have power. Because if we just gave it to everybody, that would be a huge bill for Evergrow to pay. So, but yeah, that's pretty much like everything I want to talk about. I got my Facebook back. I'm sure like if you follow me on Facebook, you've seen me commenting and posting a lot more. And there was like this period between July and August where like I was absolutely silent. And that was the reason why I didn't want to talk about this when it happened, because there were a lot of times that I was working with Hacked and they were like, don't try to log in, don't try to do anything. Like, we need to wait. And I didn't want any white knights to listen, try to help me out and be like, I'll hack it back for you. Like, I didn't want to say anything or do anything, but I got it back now. The other thing that I've noticed too is that there's the hackers occasionally still try to get into my account. Every now and then I still get a message that says someone's trying to log into your account. And then I just click this wasn't me. And then it just says, thanks. You don't have to do anything. So that's annoying. I'm like, but and the other thing too is like, I just try to log into Facebook on this computer. So I switched computers. I use a different browser because Zencaster wasn't letting me use Brave. So I opened up Chrome, logged into Facebook, and Facebook logged me out 3 times in the span of like 15 minutes. And we're past a month since this happened. And like, this is still happening to me, and it's annoying. So just know that it's even when you do get it back, it's still not all peachy right away. So great. I'm glad we talked about this. This has been on the docket to talk about forever. But no, I do want to post that guide on JakeHundley.com, and I'm sure when I do, I'll post in the notes at some point, and you can go read it and share it, and maybe people will find it and find it helpful on how to get their account back and also secure just their digital life in their agency. So
cool.
Do you have anything else?
No, I'm dying again. I got to take more meds.
I love when I put these recordings into Audacity to like edit, and I can see who talked the most, like visually with the waveforms. It's just going to be like me with a giant waveform going across the entire hour of this episode, and then like you just like tiny little like interjections.
Hey, I'm the hype man. Got you back.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
See you.